Well, I was walking down the street, feeling kind of neat, when the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Oh, it was a sight to see, my hair flying in the breeze, 'cause the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. People started laughing, they couldn't believe their eyes as my wig flew through the sky. Oh, what a surprise. I tried to catch it, but it slipped right through my hands, 'cause the wind came out your butt and now it's somewhere in the land. Oh, wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Baby, you drive like shit. Did you see that car that you almost hit? I'd rather take the bus instead. Riding with you, I'm gonna end up dead. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. She just ran through, always stop. I ain't trying to get stopped by the cops. Baby, why the hell did I let you drive? It's a miracle that you're still alive. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look out, my girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Heard you bit your tongue. Gotta let you know I will fuck you up. I whoop that ass, talking all that shit, spank that ass till you tap like a bitch. No, I ain't playing. I'm here to kick ass. Whoop that ass. It's time to punch face. I'm the one who brings you pain in the ring. I whoop that ass until the bell rings. Already know that I do not play. Throw a punch like I'm cutting down hay. I whoop that ass every single night. Spank that ass till they stop the fight. I'll tell you the story of a man, a radioactive pimp with his hand grew 10 times his normal size to help him get his money on time. He knew if a bitch was telling a lie, which was 100% of the time. Superpowers to make a bitch listen, then get her naked with sex-ray vision. Beat a police station in a single bound, slapping bitches down to the fucking ground. His name was famous across the land. They called him the pimp named Superhand. Oh shit, yeah, the pimp named Superhand. He had powers no other pimp had. Oh fuck yeah, pimp named Superhand. That motherfucker was super bad. Asking for dinner ain't asking for much. You had one job and still fucked it up. Sometimes you gotta learn respect. I use my pimp hand to correct. It's called a bitch slap, slap. Come get your face the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
What's up, fam? Welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to have you one more again this evening. I am your host, School for Justice. Y'all come on in, have a seat, and enjoy the show. Who taught you to hate yourself? You don't need permission to be who you are, the beautiful creation we are meant to be. And on tonight, I got a pretty good one for you to jump in on, where an attorney is arrested for doing his job. So let's jump on in, get your popcorn, get your wine, whatever you may need, and let's enjoy the content. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this to the screen right here. So give me 1 second, and I can get this rocking and rolling.
February 23rd, 2017, attorneys Victor Revel and Megan Garcia were leaving the courthouse with their client, Lloyd Edwards, after appearing in court in reference to a protection from abuse order initiated by Mr. Edwards' wife, Jasmine. Before leaving the courthouse, Mr. Edwards gave 2 of his 3 cell phones to Mr. Revel. As Ms. Garcia, Mr. Revel, and Mr. Edwards exited the courthouse, they were confronted by Deputy Ashworth and Deputy Ratliff of the Blount County Sheriff's Office in Blount County, Alabama, who were attempting to serve a search warrant of Mr. Edwards and his vehicle.
I'm from the Sheriff's Office.
Take a look at it. Do you have any other weapons on your person at this time that I need to know about or say? No, sir. No, now? In the car. Okay. What have you having?
All right, y'all. So we're in Blount County, Alabama, and we have an attorney out here doing his job, and he's representing his client, for a court case. And now he's being served some bullcrap paperwork, all behind some officers having an issue with him doing his job. Let's see how this finna go down.
Normal with small pistol. Okay. Your vehicle is also part of this search. Okay. So I'm gonna have to ask you, do you have the keys to your automobile? Yes, sir. I need the keys to your automobile, right? Okay. Let me pat you down, make sure you don't have any other weapon. Just for your safety and ours. Okay. Just hang tight, we'll get all this resolved.
As mentioned earlier in the video, Mr. Edwards was appearing in court about a protection order issued by his wife. Mrs. Edwards alleged that Mr. Edwards had abused her and their daughter, and testified that Mr. Edwards' cell phones contained proof of her claims. Mrs. Edwards' testimony led the prosecution to pursue a search warrant for Mr. Edwards' person and vehicle, specifically targeting his 3 cell phones. I called the Revel law firm, and Mr. Revel stated that there was no evidence of abuse on the phones, and that the phones actually contained evidence that supported Mr. Edwards' innocence. Mr. Revel claims that Mrs. Edwards had exchanged explicit messages with Mr. Edwards, which indicated that her interactions with him were consensual and that he intended to submit the phones as evidence for the defense. Mr. Edwards later stated that Mr. Revel told him that, quote, "There may come a day when the prosecution wants your phone," and one of the attorneys asked him for the 2 phones just before exiting the courtroom. The phones were then placed into Mrs. Garcia's briefcase prior to exiting the building.
The warrants that you all have are for his person.
That's correct.
And for his vehicle.
That's correct.
So he has given the phone that's on his person.
Okay, I have video of him handing the phone to you, you handing the phone to her. It's in the satchel right now.
No, you all do have that, but that is not on. When you all
no, I'm not here to courthouse with Brian on search
that was
warrant.
not on his.
All right, so the case is pretty much pertaining to a restraining order that the gentleman with the hat has from his ex. All right. And so the black man is in the suit and tie. He's the attorney representing him. So that's his client, right? And so they're outside kind of going over some paperwork, some documents or whatnot. And we're going to see what's going to happen next and how the attorney's going to end up arrested and approached by an officer for doing his job. I see y'all coming on in. Smash that like button. I am your host, Kenique Jackson, here at School for Justice. Appreciate your support. Smash that like button coming on in and smash that subscribe button on your way out. I greatly appreciate you here where we conquer and destroy police corruption and brutality.
Person. So you all 9 times today.
Okay. Well, I can. We'll go the other route to get that other phone.
As Mr. Revel mentioned, the language of the search warrant dictates that the search may be performed on Mr. Edwards' immediate person and vehicle only. Since Mr. Edwards was not in possession of the phones at the time of the warrant being served, the deputies are not entitled to them. If the deputies had acquired a search warrant for the phones themselves, then they may have had some authority to seize them. But the validity of such a search warrant would be questionable, considering that the defense also intends to submit the phones as evidence. The search warrant presented by the officers does not authorize them to search Mrs. Garcia, but the prosecution does have a trick up its sleeve, which we will discuss later in the video. After realizing that Mr. Revel is refusing to comply with the search, Deputy Ashworth calls the district attorney's office for advice on how to proceed.
All right, you just gotta apply.
Okay, we're standing here and we have it on video that he handed his cell phone to his attorney, one, and then handed it to another, and it's in the satchel that is right here.
Well, are we being detained?
At this moment in time,
They're not denying it, we have it
I'm
on
going
video.
to detain you until we determine the next course of action. Give me
Well,
just a minute.
but I have this person and vehicle.
I'm going to turn this off. I think what we just done.
So now we got this punk ass officer, deputy, who's just bust on the scene out here to step to the attorney. Okay, so let's see what he's talking about and which direction and aim this finna go in.
Okay. Okay, we either need the phone out of the satchel or we will have to detain you and get a search warrant to get the phone.
So you're gonna well.
Okay, so that's his A-man corner right there, Miss Karen in the colorful shirt and the blonde hair, you know, and she's saying we're going to have to execute a warrant for you and detain you. Are you serious for presenting evidence by doing his job? The phones are evidence, a part of the case. So who got some inside connects going on right now in this county? This back of the woods county in the south of country Alabama. So y'all come walk with me and see where we're finna go.
Okay. Well, we're not going to give you anything on our person that you don't have a right to. So if you detain us, you have to have certain constitutional safeguards to do that. But you're going to detain us, then hey, we're not going to run. So you all are telling us we are being detained. Is that right?
Time right now, you are being detained. Now, they determine.
Okay, you both are under arrest for obstructing government operations.
Obstructing government operations.
That's correct.
So now his goon, you're both under arrest for obstruction of government operation. What operation? They're standing out here doing their job, getting ready for the court hearing in the court case. Like, what in God's name are you talking about? You have zero right, legal grounds to even come at these people for doing their job. This is crazy.
This is definitely an unlawful arrest. But we're under arrest.
Mr. Revel is more than correct that this arrest is unlawful. Not only are the deputies charging Mr. Revel under the authority of an irrelevant search warrant, but neither Mr. Revel or Mrs. Garcia did anything that would constitute a violation of Alabama Code 13A-10-2. The code states that a person commits the crime of obstructing governmental operations if, by means of intimidation, physical force, or interference,
So, y'all, we're going to re-glimpse over this code right quick. They have done nothing to constitute any of the amendments or the constitutional law pertaining to doing their job. And here's the narrator breaking down obstruction of justice, what they're trying to charge these attorneys with. These are legal lawyers, and they're actually trying to charge them for doing their job. This is nuts.
intentionally obstructs the administration of law or prevents a public servant from performing a governmental function. Neither Mr. Revel nor Mrs. Garcia conducted themselves in a manner that was intimidating, physically forceful, or interfering. They both simply stated that they would not comply with the deputies' unlawful orders. They did nothing to prevent the deputies from seizing the phone. If the deputies were so sure that the search warrant authorized them to seize the phones, then what was stopping them from taking Mrs. Garcia's bag and getting them? Certainly not Mr. Revel or Mrs. Garcia.
If you've written a book and want to publish it to over 3 billion potential readers, now is your chance.
We're speaking of.
Sir, you would. Make sure you don't have no weapon on you at all.
Of course not.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
We have it on video.
We have not broken the law. So if you're arresting us, I'm being arrested for obstructing government operations.
That's correct.
Let me take out this right here.
If you don't mind, take my copy. That way it'll be a lot.
Real life. Y'all want to arrest 2 lawyers for this charge? You sure you want to do that? I am subject to law. Okay. And this is, and you, and who are you?
I'm Sue Ashworth.
Sue Ashworth.
That's correct. And this is Brian Ratliff.
And you're arresting us under her orders?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Deputy Ratliff, yes, I want to make sure that you know from our position was.
All right, y'all. So here's the drama and here's the smoke. Here's the drama and here's the chaos and here's the smoke. But one thing about it, let's watch how the attorneys legally stand their ground and do their job. Here come the drama and here come the smoke right here outside in front of the courthouse. Like, is they a joke? Like, is this for real?
That this search warrant, this warrant was given to him after he gave us some things for us to use in his defense. And so we did not do anything to keep you all from doing you all's job. Now, if you all want to
I'm out here
this
with
satchel and go
the
through
sheriff's
and do it,
office at the courthouse.
we're not preventing you from
Do the search warrant on the car and they
so I just wanted to
I'm out here just
From the moment he's entered the courthouse, he's been under surveillance.
yeah.
Okay? For the reasons of this search warrant. All right? I'm sitting here and watch you and him and her.
can't believe we get in about 10 or 15 minutes. I'll be ready.
You look good. Matter of fact, you did look.
What is the sheriff deputy talking about? The sheriff deputy, what is he even talking about? Tell me what y'all see. What do you all see is going down right here? Do you think this is a prejudice move? Is this straight racial? Because we have this African American, this black man as an attorney. They're in a predominantly white county there in Alabama, in the South. Do you all see a racist move? Tell me your thoughts. You know, fill me in. I want to hear from you. What you see is going down and what's going on. Because why in the world would you feel the need to want to arrest this guy for simply doing his job? So fill me in. I love to hear from you. You know, post in your comments, your activities. I'll definitely respond and reply.
Up at the camera 2 or 3 times. He pulled the phone out and handed it to you. You handed it back to him. He was fooling with, I'm guessing, a password. And after a short period of time, he handed it back to you. You handed it to her. She put it in here. Okay? That is evidence for this search warrant.
And you agree with me that you all served this search warrant on him subsequent to that, after that, all right?
Yeah.
After we left out the jail.
Yes.
The deputies fail to understand the authoritative limitations of the search warrant, and Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia were arrested and charged under Code 13A-10-2. The prosecution initially offered to drop the charges if Mr. Revel agreed to write a letter apologizing and admitting that the deputies did nothing wrong. But Mr. Revel rejected.
Why in the hell would he write a letter apologizing to that the deputies and stuff did nothing wrong? That would be a damn lie. They came out there and violated that man's constitutional rights. That's what the deputy did. And they were arrested, both legal aides and legal lawyers out there, because what it is, they want to confiscate evidence. It is evidence, according to the case, that the attorneys are using, and I believe it was phone, a lot of legal evidence going on, and receipts inside the phone, and they want to come confiscate the evidence. So it sounds like what? An inside connect. Share your thoughts. What do you see?
Their offer and decided to proceed with a trial. In the ensuing criminal trial, Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia's defense argued that the state failed to establish the defendant's intent and that no crime was committed because the search warrant did not authorize the search of Mr. Edwards' attorneys. The prosecution argued that they were entitled to the phones under the exigent circumstances doctrine, which is a legal precedent that allows for warrantless searches in circumstances where evidence has a high likelihood of being destroyed.
The attorneys stated they are entitled to the phones. It is legal, substantial evidence pertaining to the court case. So as the attorneys and the police officials, we know the laws. Y'all just been some jackasses. So the question is, for what? For what purpose? What is your motive? Why are you out there? What do y'all see is going down? Tell me what your thoughts is. I would love to hear from you. Share, like, and subscribe. I appreciate your support.
Such as cell phone data. I have covered the exigent circumstances doctrine in a previous video, which I will link in the info card above. During the trial, Mr. Edwards, who was still under investigation at the time, testified for the prosecution, but stated that District Attorney Casey tried to prep him in his testimony, even though she had reportedly recused herself from the case, and Mr. Edwards became a key witness for Mr. Revel's defense. Ultimately, Judge King acquitted Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia of all charges and stated that the deputies were wrong about the authority of the search warrant and that the defendants never physically prevented the deputies from carrying out their duties. Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia were forced to recuse themselves from Mr. Edwards' case after filing 2 separate federal lawsuits against Deputy Ratliff and Deputy Ashworth, as well as District Attorney Casey and the Assistant District Attorney Scott Gilliland. It is worth noting
Lawsuits. They filed lawsuits for that ass, as they should. And both charges were definitely dropped and acquitted. This shit crazy, y'all. How can you lock somebody up for simply doing their job? It's unheard of, unfathomable.
that Mr. Edwards has yet to go to trial, and his case has been reset by a different grand jury several times over the past 2 years. It is highly irregular for a district attorney to delay indictment when the suspect has been charged, and there is merit to the notion that she may be delaying Mr. Edwards' prosecution so that she can use his pending case as leverage against him for his testimony in the federal lawsuit against her. Nonetheless, Mr. Revel is optimistic about the case and told me that he expects to reach a settlement agreement with certain undisclosed stipulations. Overall, the deputies and district attorneys of the Blount County Sheriff's Office get an F for exaggerating the authority of a search warrant, violating Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia's Fourth Amendment rights, and falsely arresting them for obstruction. At one point in the video, Deputy Ashworth states that she is detaining Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia until she is able to acquire a search warrant, and she may have had the authority to do that under the exigent circumstance doctrine. If Deputy Ashworth had stuck to that plan, she may have been able to legally seize the phones, but she instead
They get a F+ for violating their Fourth Amendment rights and falsely charging them for obstruction. This is insane, man. It's humiliating to the laws, to our democracy, to the judicial system. Like, y'all straight put on a clown show. You know, whether they realize it or not. I mean, just look at both of their faces. They look like straight clowns, Friday the 13th or something. Like, what are y'all out there doing? Go do your job and what you get paid to do, to perform a task, not to hound, insult, and harass other people for doing their job. So that's the problem we have going on right now in the moment. This is just, it's just real stupid and senseless. What do you all see? Tell me what you think and share your thoughts.
Chose to escalate the detainment to an arrest rather than waiting for a proper search warrant. The phones were eventually searched by the prosecution, but they did not contain any usable evidence. And even if they had, the prosecution would not have been able to submit them as evidence in the trial against Mr. Edwards because the phones were illegally obtained. The only thing that the prosecution got out of this interaction was a federal lawsuit that will likely result in a hefty settlement. Mr. Revel gets an A+ for having the mental agility and conversational fortitude to dispute the validity of the search warrant and the courage and conviction to defend his personal liberty and stand by his defendant's rights. Mr. Revel immediately knew that the arrest was unlawful and offered the deputies multiple opportunities to reconsider. There is no doubt that Mr. Revel and Mrs. Garcia will walk away from this case with a victory, and any client would be lucky to have their representation. Mr. Revel deserves recognition for his conduct during this interaction, and I will leave a link to the Revel Law Firm's website in the description below for anyone in Alabama who may be interested in seeking their services. Let us know if there is...
Y'all, we got to do better. We got to do better, y'all. This is absurd. We got to do better. This is really insane. They wanted them phones. Whatever was going down, the phones had some strong, valid evidence, and they wanted them phones to the point they was willing to violate, go to any extreme to steal them evidence and snatch that important piece to link the whole case together, which shows that who team was they on? They was on whoever was being charged and prosecuted for violating or whatever was going on. They was trying to cover some tracks, and they was on the wrong side, the wrong team. But y'all, we got to do better. Here in our country, here in our nation, we got to stand up for the judicial system, rebuild it all over again. That's what freedom and our rights are for. Until next time, I'm your host, Kenny Jackson, here at School for Justice. Glad to have you where we live, love, laugh, and conquer police brutality. Thanks for joining me. Support. I am appreciating and hearing you all's activity and comments and, reaching out to you. And I hear you, and I greatly appreciate your thoughts, your opinions, and sharing your ideals and sharing and information and the law, because here we want to grow and we want to rise above the occasion with the predicament and the circumstances our country is in with the rise of police brutality like it's never been before in our world history. And so we are here to conquer that. Thank you again, and until next time, let's live, love, laugh, be easy, and salute.
That's if they really find something.
They say I'm a big dog, I make all my niggas better. I feel like I'm Chris Paul. I serve all the purest cocaine, don't need no fentanyl. He faking Mr. Persona for the bitches, call him Rick Ross. While I fuck on your bitch right by the door, I told her get lost. I see cash up in my sleep like Trader Visionary. I keep sticks up on my side, got more than the military. Got up in that pussy, leave it creamy, Ben and Jerry's. Take off like a jet, I'm feeling like I'm Jason Terry. Niggas hate it, but these bitches love the way I'm shining, though. I might get 100 years if the police find a dope. Screaming for my baby mama, cause I found the final.